Hi everyone. In regards to this week's discussion on sensitivity awareness, I do believe that authors do need to be aware of sensitivity issues in their books, whether they're YA or even adult, depending on the topic. A lot of adult writers can get away with being a little more graphic as far as the sensitivity issue they're tackling in their book. YA authors need to be a little more aware and a little more sensitive in the way they write about the topic, because you don't want to be really graphic as far as, because I've seen some writers be really graphic as far as dealing with a sensitivity issue in their book. You may want to, one of the things, if the sensitivity issues arise, should changes be made? I believe changes should be made, and I think those changes should be made like on any story. The changes should be made based on the story itself and how it's written and how the author wanted to write it, as far as the message they wanted to get across to people. And ultimately, though, any changes anyway from opinions of revising based on opinions of others ultimately comes down to the author and whether or not they want to make those changes about the topic. And one of the things that with coming up with options to avoid it or change things when when these type of issues come up, and maybe the backlash from them or what the opinions of the sensitivity readers are, you can not be so graphic in writing the scenes, maybe tone down the scenes some, but still get your point across. You can rewrite the story even. And one author I know, in our articles we read, she revised her story and made the story more about the illness the character was going through than about the character herself. But she also showed the character dealing with that, what she was going through. But she also, as far as sensitivity, she made it more about the issue. And I think that's one way you can change is, or the options that YA writers have is to change it. You have to understand that you know what you're writing is going to trigger somebody or trigger something, whether they're an adult or a young adult. It's going to trigger something in their mind when they're reading, and as far as the issue, and maybe they've went through something like it too, and it could be a positive, it could be a trigger that leads to something positive happening for them, or it could lead to something negative. It's an issue that as a YA writer you're going to be dealing with no matter what, as far as contemporary writing in YA and dealing with those type of sensitivity issues. And what I've seen is some authors have changed as far as the sensitivity issues. They've changed their story around. They've, if their some of their scenes had been really graphic about this involving the sensitivity issue, they've went back and they've toned down the scenes, but still were able to tell the story the way they wanted to tell it. And so I think that's one of the options to have is that you do have to keep in mind your readers and what the sensitivity issue could trigger in them. And you also have to understand that yes, you can change the story and it not be so graphic that you can't tell the story, because even one little change can still tell the story and still get your point across about this sensitivity issue. And it's something as writers on any level I think we have to be aware of, is sensitivity awareness, no matter what, with the way the world is now. That it's good to be aware of those sensitivity issues and be flexible enough to change your story if enough people are saying that you may want to change it.